Sorry, y'all. Yes, so it says door shut. Yeah. Stop. Yeah.
We're going to go get started. We've got a couple of folks missing, but they'll wander red and find their way around. You guys can catch them up. We are taking over today 3 new presenters, and we're going to introduce ourselves to you real quick. In case you haven't met us, I think we talked real quick the other day, but I'm Jeremy from Cohort County.
I'm Vicki Sullivan from Madison County.
And I'm Cameron Finley from River City.
Okay. And we're taking you through Standard 2 today a little bit. We talked about this, and we've gone back and forth in our discussions. This standard kind of runs through everything. So we're going to be taking parts of it today, but it's a huge, huge standard to look at. And so it's under teaching, learning, and assessments. And technology coaches assist the teachers in using technology effectively or assist that. Read it, because I haven't been drinking, I promise you, but the more I look up there, the more like that's blurry to me. So you can see it. We're going to be doing it very quick today, so we're going to go ahead and just get the spirit of that, get going. Let's start with our icebreaker.
All right. So the whole theme of this conference is, finding your superpower. And so we're going to start with, we're going to divide into 2 groups. One group's going to be at that table standing up, or, and half of you. So y'all can divide 10 and 9. So I need 10 people over there and 9 people over here. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to pick up one of these cards, and you're going to read it. And then you're going to pick up another one, you get 2 cards, and see which one is more you, okay? All right, and if you decide, this one's more me, then you put that one down, and keep the one that's more you, then pick up another one, read it, and see if you're going to be left with one that's really your superpower, and whatever the last one is probably your, alternate superpower, okay? And so what I want you to do at that point, take your cell phone, take a picture of your superpowers, in the back and the front, and your alternate, okay, and be ready to tell, why. Why is that your superpower? What do you bring to the table? Because we all bring something. So hopefully this activity will help you learn a little bit about yourself. And so I need half the group over here and half the group over there. Again, pick up one, pick up a read it, pick up a second one, read it, decide which one's better, put the other one down, and keep moving until you know what your superpower is. You should end up having only one left at the end, and your runner-up is your secondary superpower, okay? Some of you are flinging these back. Not my superpower. So you read it first, and if you keep it, if it's not you, compare to you end up with this one. Yeah, y'all got the blurry ones because our other pack didn't come in time, so. Your eyes, it's this because you've been looking at technology too long. Once you find one that's really you, take a picture front and back. And if you end up with 2, you can do a secondary and then put it down because some people may have the same one.
Are we just supposed to end up with 1 or 2?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, 2.
Are we supposed to have 2 or 1?
One primary.
Yes.
Okay, so when you compare 2, whichever one's more like you, put the other one down. So
we're supposed to have 1?
You've seen them all? You think you've seen them all?
How many cards are we supposed to have at the end?
one main if you have a secondary, but you're not keeping it. You're taking a picture of it if you think it's yours and put it back out because it might be somebody else's. So if you take a picture one and find out that's yours, and then you find out one's more like you, then you can. You said find it. Here it is. Yes. Now, if you've taken a picture and you think you are something else, you can always take another picture. Once you find yours, take a picture of it, and hopefully you've seen them all at some point. Take pictures. Take pictures of both sides because you're gonna. It's harder when you're looking at the white side. So if you want to turn them over, they suggest starting on the white side.
I like the white side because you don't get stuck in the title.
Yeah. The title maybe
I wouldn't have called myself like those titles. Like I would have said, oh, it's not me.
and then you would have read.
And then when I read it, I'm like,
So that's good.
so maybe I should take one of them.
You haven't found yourself yet?
I don't actually which was not.
That's all one of the cards.
Yeah, we just remember.
Is one of them falling apart again?
Oh, yeah, I think
That's
that's
why.
why.
Yeah, that would be. This is what happens when you try the true.
That'd be your second.
You can have a sub superpower. Alternate. Your alternate, you get.
When we're done, we can just.
Yes, when you're done, you can go back to your seat, and we're going to share out. See what kind of superpowers we have in this one. I should have said facilitators. You could have done it as well.
And so, two bathrooms cleaned. It's a lot of work together, so that's why I'm like, if y'all all got to get a heads light, so y'all just, yes. So y'all finished out because theirs were copies and they were blurry and I look kind of light.
Yeah.
Y'all are favorites. You picked this dream? Oh, no.
You don't need
Like,
to All right, so everybody found their superpower? Okay, so here's what you would do. And if you had a secondary, you can tell people what it was, but you would say, my name is Cameron McKinley, I'm from Hoover City Schools, and I want you to read your, this team lacks oomph. They're each a little drained. They need a burst of force to get things humming again. They need an injection of enthusiasm, vibrance, and faithfulness, which is why they need you, and that would be energy. And so I would say, typically, who was telling me that? Is that fitting?
Yeah.
Okay, so, because really I do end up having a lot of energy, it may not always be channeled in the proper direction, but that's Kelly's job to help channel me somewhere where I'm needed and this superpower is needed. It's not always as welcome as it could be, but, so tell why you think that and what kind of backs up why you picked that superpower. So who would like to go and share their superpower with us and where you're from and names? Since I didn't get to be here. I was watching y'all, by the way, I was listening to y'all in my car on the drive down Sunday. They were streaming it for me. So.
I'll go.
Yeah, guys.
And I picked pretty quickly because Cam picked for me, but she works with me. Let me find the one I picked. Okay, I'm Beth Parker and I'm from Pullman County. This team is in a rut. Everything seems hard and they can't get traction. They need more inspiration and direction, maybe even a kick in the pants. They need a reminder about why they're here and what they're trying to accomplish. And this is why they need me. And that's motivation is. And I guess I have learned if teachers see the whole picture on and try to put things in perspective. And then I can come from a very honest background of when I'm been around so long that there was no such thing as a computer course when I went through college and stuff like that. So I really can't understand teachers that are afraid of technology or whatever. So I think that helps motivate them.
Oh, that's great. Did anyone else have motivation as a superpower? Great, we needed you in here. So, all right, thank you.
I'll do this. And I didn't keep the winning
What did you say?
This says, the team is in the mindset of a big push, or in the midst of a big push, and they're not done yet. The work's getting closer, but it requires more effort, more attention, more elbow grease. They need to keep pushing. They need perseverance. And the reason I picked that is because I am a good at, this is what we need to do, and let's make a list, and let's check it off the list. And sometimes I call myself the yapping dog when something's not done, and I keep yapping at that person, and it's not done yet, So that's why I picked that. And it's called grit.
Grit. And you are from which, I'm sorry.
Coleman County. Kim lives in Upsall.
Okay, Kim from Coleman County. Anybody else have grit? Grit fell apart back there in half. Okay, so no, you didn't end up with it. It's your second superpower. All right, thank you. Continue this table or somebody?
Stephanie Huon, Baldwin County. Mine was, this team is full of talent that despite all the rock stars, they aren't yet making music. They need to be more than the sum of their parts. They need someone who can bring out the best in each of them and the best in the team overall, which is why they need you. And it's harmonizing, and I think I was affirmed when I turned over the card because I had an opportunity to go through the Streets Quest training, and harmony is at the top of my streaks. And I see that in how I interact with people. Hopefully my boss sees that too. But I really believe in building relationships. That's the first thing that has to happen before anything else can happen. And that's pretty much how I attack everything that I do, is building a relationship first, and then we can get somewhere from there. So I don't know if it's right.
Yep.
You agree. Your boss agrees with that. Any other harmony in here? Any harmonies? No? This is amazing. Okay, so you would think they'd all come out the same, right? With all these tech coaches in here. But no.
And I can attest to that. I think I found mine. And we work together. I'm Katie Nettles. I am from Baldwin County Hospital. My first hard to think. I don't think I'm very good at self-defense. I won't tell you the real reason. Okay. So this team has to be impossible, and they don't have any resources or much time. They have the will, but they need the way. They need someone who's distracted and smart to create something out of nothing, which is why they need you. And that's what is ingenuity. And I would say that I am really resourceful. I don't like to hear teachers say they can't do something if they don't have the resources. So I'm always offering up that service as far as finding the resources that they need. So they can't make that excuse. And Jeremy says understand.
I was thinking more to give you dog big would have been good too. I was thinking that would have been.
He loves me. He really does.
Anyone else have that superpower?
That was my alternate.
That was your alternate, so a couple alternates. All right.
I'm Jan Posey. I'm from Huntsville City Schools, and mine was, this team is in the middle of a really complicated problem with many moving parts. They're having a hard time grasping the full picture, which means they aren't making informed choices. They need to see how all the different pieces connect. And that is the story of my life. I am the one in school, I didn't care about the subjects as much as how they all related to one another. I'm always looking in my relationships for the patterns and Bowen's family systems theory. This is a systems analyst.
Fascinating.
I do it now as a tech coach. I do it in my relationships using Bowen's family theory, family systems. I do it when I'm designing training. Oh, let's turn it into a whole tech certification program. Big picture.
So tell them the name of your
It was systems thinking.
systems thinking. Anybody else systems thinking? Okay.
Diversity.
Okay, so I bet somebody else has this superpower. Okay, I'm Jackie Jennings from Fort Payne. This team is stuck between a rock and a hard place. No matter how they try, they can't figure out how to get out. It's a daily thing. They need to methodically break things down and strategize. They need to crack the code, find the hidden exit. And this is why they need you. And this is problem solving. So this is something that I like to do. I like to have the problems. I like to come up with a solution, and I do it constantly, daily. I did it when I was a child. I used to always buy those problem working books when we would take, our family took lots of long trips, and they didn't have books, you didn't have any digitals. So I would buy those and I'd work through them all through the trip. But definitely this.
Anybody else have problem solving? Okay, so yeah. And was that your first superpower? So can you tell your name and where you're from and how you?
Okay, Angie Clark. I'm from Shelby County, and again, I do like solving the problems. Funny thing about me though, I rarely call it a problem. Like I'll use any other word except that. But that is essentially what I love to do. I love to come up with options for people to consider to solve their issue or whatever the troubleshooting, ordeal they need to go through. Yeah, and then just step by step, try this. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, well here we go. And that's just my thing.
Thank you.
Sure.
Problem solving.
Yes, I'm Valerie Curtis. I'm from Hull City High School. And much like what they both said, I feel like every day is, methodical, computational checklist kind of day that, you go through when someone comes into the office and says, they may need something fixed, or they may need, like some hardware fixed, or if it's on the instructional side, they need help working through something. So, and I was that person, like, going through like code.org or whatever, and you're like making Elsa skate, and I'm like, I cannot stop until I figure it out kind of thing. I just can't let it go. And that's definitely my personality. So,
Thank you. And we have one more.
I'm Lisa Harris from Parksville City, and my was problem solving also. And that, like you said, Jackie, it's just something I've always done. My major in college was chemistry, and so that's all about problem solving. And it's kind of like everything's a mystery, and I love solving mysteries.
Cameron, very unique. 3 of those are in my small group here, so they're going to work their solving problems.
Yes.
That problem's getting solved. That was interesting that we made it around the whole table before we came up with superpower.
Second.
Oh, the second, yeah. Anybody have it as their second? Some of you didn't pick second. You're like, this is me, this is it. Okay, we'll go back to the second.
Oh, okay. I'm Thea Patrick. I'm from Mountain Brooks Schools. And mine said this team is waffling over a decision. They can't pull the trigger. They can't commit. The options seem equally compelling. They need clarity and resolve. They need the courage and conviction to choose. And, no, that's not right. No, that is right. Decisiveness.
That's the one. That is fantastic.
That's it.
I knew decisiveness wasn't mine. That's right. We'll remember. Sarah.
I'm Sarah Carpenter from Beaver City Schools and Elementary Technology. And I'm not 100% sure if this will be fine, but the team is bitterly divided, tensions are high, relationships are strained, and they are in such conflict they can't move forward. They need to get past their differences and repair their rifts. So that's peacemaker.
I would agree.
Hopefully I don't have to do that.
Yeah, it's not like we're all fighting all the time. What was your second? Since you can't decide, you've got a decision maker right now.
That's right. I'll help you decide.
Cultural, yeah, exactly. Cultural compass.
Okay. Jamie?
Okay, mine was, I'm Jamie Nutter from Beaver City Schools. I'm also an elementary tech coach. This team lacks, they're each a little drained. They need a burst of force to get things humming again. They need injections of enthusiasm, vibrance, and playfulness, which is why they need some energy. And I love the challenge of working with faculty and trying to figure out their different personalities and get them excited about learning and why they need to learn and why it's important. And my second was pattern mapping.
Pattern. Did anybody have pattern mapping? For education. Okay. I guess.
We came in late.
Oh, okay. You can look through these cards and as you see one that's you, pick compare to, whichever one's more like you, keep it. And then keep doing them. There's a bunch of cards. Yeah, give her the good cards. And then when you find the one that really is you, that's your superpower.
Okay.
And we'll just, do we have anybody that hasn't gone? Wait, you've all gone at this table, so we'll go.
Did anyone else have energy? That was mine.
Me.
Okay.
Kelly. That's why Kelly's it all the time. Kelly, she has to have separate meetings with our two groups.
It doesn't matter. Okay. We'll pull it up now. I'm Stephanie Rosetta. I'm with Tricycle City Schools. I do K-12. I actually really had a hard time deciding on all of them, so maybe I just have a lot of superpowers. But the one that I picked was, this team has been busy producing stuff. It's been a while since they've sought an outside opinion and they've lost perspective on whether the stuff they're producing is any good. They need help seeing their blind spots. And that's gap detection. I often get called to come in like kind of after they've started stuff and doing stuff. They want me to kind of say, can you be different eyes and looking at it and helping them? And then we talk it out. Then we problem solve. We kind of do all of these after that. And so like they'll literally call me and say, hey, now we need you. Come on. And then that's what I do, I guess.
So anybody else gap detection?
It was my second.
I'm Brooke Hudson, I'm from Oregon County Schools, and mine said that this team is swimming in information. All the details are getting in their way. They need to cut through the clutter, find the signal and the noise. They need to get to the essence so they can see what really matters. And that was complexity busting. And so for as long as I can remember, high school, college, we would just be sitting around, talking about these different ideas. And so I would just kind of come to the point of like, okay, so what we're saying is, and, be able to give that clear, like, so this is what we're doing, this is where we're going to go. And so I feel like even today when I'm working with teachers, like, okay, so I'm hearing this and we can, take this path. So I think
that's a great superpower for being a technology coach. Awesome. Thank you.
I'm Christy Greason. I'm from Hartsville and Hartsville High School, and I was also peacemaking with my first. I really do like for us to be a team and to get along, and then you get along with everyone else. And then my second was problem solving. So I just think it's really important that we're a family, and then we're a bigger family on the outside. So anyway,
I'm also complexity busting, a media specialist. Also, I was so from Lee County Schools. So a lot of times the teachers would meet and they want to share things that their kids did, and so they think what their kids did is more important or prettier or better than what somebody else's did. And sometimes they have a hard time deciding, well, this is what we're going to go with because they know their kids better. So sometimes it takes somebody on the outside to figure out, well, why don't we do this and maybe merge them sometimes. So that was mine, was complexity busting as well.
And yours was too?
No.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Amanda from Jefferson County. Since this team is hungry, they want to do something bigger and bolder, but they need the initial idea. Calls are
Sure.
Yeah, why don't that come out? Like, that's really sad. Okay, July 2. They need someone who can paint the picture of the future and start them on their way, which is why they need to use vision. So I guess if I saw the vision card, I might have said no, but I'm like such a big picture person. Like I can't get past, like I can't do little tasks until I know exactly how, who this is going to affect, why this is going to, like where this is going, what are the goals, those kind of things. So yeah, I'm definitely a big picture person versus, I can get into the details, but I'd rather get it out of the way first.
And do we have anybody else with vision? Okay, so again, we're pretty sparse through as far as superpowers. Okay, who is not, anybody who's not going other than our, just our, did you have time to find a superpower?
Yeah, I settled with this team is waffling over decision. They can't pull the trigger. They can't commit. Their options seem equally compelling. They need clarity and resolve. They need the courage and conviction to choose the decisiveness.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we see a lot of that with our teachers, just trying to kind of make the decision, and because there's so many things available to them. So that's, I think, on a daily basis where we get an opportunity to implement that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Casey Barksdale from Monson County, and we were late. We had a meeting. We're just like hanging out. Your leader's coming in late. It looks really, really bad. But we were with our tech director and speaker. Sorry. says this team needs to strike a deal. It's a high-stakes situation, and they're not sure how to position themselves or where to compromise. They need someone who can artfully bargain on their behalf. And that's negotiation, and that is definitely a. And I'm a middle child, so I'm always feel that playing on both sides.
Who do you mainly find yourself negotiating for, with, about?
Right now, I have a brand new principal after having a principal for 30 something years, and every day is a negotiation because he wants to change everything, and the teachers miss the old principal, they miss the old ways. The district's made changes, so he, feels like the principal's changed everything, and so every day is talking someone off the cliff, and it may not have anything to do with technology coaching. It's just right now we're just trying to find a common balance of creating some norms. So, but it's definitely a lot of principal teacher negotiations right now.
So your school had the same for school.
Sorry.
Yeah, we've had, that's not the only school that's had it. So it currently has they don't leave.
Well, as you can see, this whole thing has been about superpowers, but it is important, and it's interesting that even though we're all in the same role, we're all here, we all have different things, different strengths and superpowers that you picked out of that stack to bring to the table. And this might be something you want to do with the groups you're coaching, with the teachers, to figure out what kind of groups you have there, so that when you have a project coming up, when you have something new or a pilot or anything that needs to be done, you kind of know how they see themselves and how, which ways you might be able to work together. This link will be posted to the Superpower site. I'll give you a login that you can use that came with the cards, and if you want to order your own set, you can, where you can read a little bit more about these and how this can work on your teams and that kind of thing. But it helped me get today since I can only hear y'all on the way here because I couldn't be looking down while I was driving. And also to get to know where you are and your strengths as we move into groups and as we go through this year together. So thank you all for participating in that. And I'm going to hand it off to our coaching model section.
Okay. All right, so we're going to be talking, this is kind of just the general idea of what we're going to be doing today. We decided to kind of put this up so you can kind of get a feel for what we're going to be doing. And you can go back and kind of look at what we did. So we're going to be talking about the coaching models. Got some Twitter questions that we need to go back and address. We're going to determine effective coaching strategies, barriers to the benefits, and benefits of coaching. That's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. And then we've got some activities. Just do the icebreaker. You're going to do a jigsaw. We're going to do some video interpretation, and then we're going to do the hexagon activity. You'll know what all this is when we get done. It'll make sense what we're doing. So we're going to get started with my section about how we learn from others. It's going to be my essential question, what I'm focusing on for this entire area. And then the content of it is we're talking about what it means to be a coach. What does it actually mean? We all come from all these diverse backgrounds. And what I think it means to be a coach, what do you think it means to be a coach? And what someone in Mississippi and Florida to be a coach, in the sense that we think about it, they're kind of all out there. So we're going to kind of pull it in. And we're going to talk about coaching models during our first activity. But it's important for me to know right when we start, you can throw a dart at a board and it's a coaching model, okay? They're everywhere. There are all kinds of coaching models. We've picked 3 for you to look at, and you were sent those to look at as groups, and we're going to kind of talk about those today. But the book itself that you have, we looked at it, and they actually identified it in a different way. So don't think that there's like this one lockdown thing that you just got to do this or it ain't going to work. I can promise you, I've been at this long enough now that I've seen it come and go at different phases of things. But one thing that you're going to figure out, hopefully by the end of this, is it's kind of all the same thing, okay? So we're going to try to boil that down for you. So, my son speaks in memes. I don't mean he shows me pictures like when he talks, he's a 12-year-old. He says things from memes as his communication keys to me. So that is currently how my brain operates, is being able to respond to a 12-year-old in memes and his 7-year-old brother who likes to just imitate whatever he does, right? So the 7-year-old doesn't even know what he's talking about, he just likes to say these things. And it's hilarious. Okay, so my whole presentation part is in memes because I want to make sure we all communicate correctly. And plus, I just hate doing PowerPoints. I'm that way. I've gotten to the point where I'm just PowerPointed out, and this is where we're at. So one does not simply sit still during a coach's training. If you're doing training with teachers and they're sitting still the whole time, Gotta get them moving. We just had lunch, okay? You're fading. There's a beach out there. I mean, literally, guys, this is the worst room I've ever trained in because it's just right there. And if I closed the curtains, you were punching me and stuff, so couldn't do that. So I now have to compete. At least it was gloomy, like I said on Sunday. You didn't have to worry about it. Today, it's beautiful. So to keep you focused, keep you moving, we're going to keep you moving around, okay? That's the big thing for us. So what I need you to do is you guys had assigned readings based on 3 different types of coaching models. You had peer, cognitive, and instructional. So without my help, what I need you to do is to get into groups with your partners for that particular subject. So cognitive in one area, peer in one area, and instructional area. Go do it.
Instructional. It's in your.
That's such an email that you guys canvas too. So we should have with 3 groups. Instructional and cognitive. This cognitive over here. You should be able to go back and I think it says the resources.
Yes, we're talking about where.
Yes, you would be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's Cognitive?
Where's instruction?
Instruction right here.
Instructional right there, okay?
Where's Cognitive?
Yes. Right here.
Cognitive.
This person here also.
You're good, baby.
So what kind of group are we in? Just an outlet that's not in the middle?
Yeah.
There's one right there.
Oh, that's right, they divide. We're instructional.
And someone that maybe I will say that like I don't want to be your own.
One of my things I like to do when I'm working with trainers,
Instructional's over here.
instructional, one of the things I like to do when I'm working with trainers is I like to deconstruct what I'm doing and stop and ask you, what just happened? What just happened? What did we just do? We moved? You were what? Lost? Okay, that's good. You struggled a little bit to figure out where you were going? I tripped and broke my neck on this stuff.
We also took a little break.
You took a little bit of a break? Okay, so why didn't I just say, you people, you're all cognitive, you're going to go here. You people, you're all instructional, you're going to go here. Why didn't I do that? You had to problem solve. Some choice to it, right? You get to sit where you want, right? You decide as a group. Now maybe somebody in the group said, we sit here. Okay, I can't fix that. But what I can do is I can say you have a little bit of option about where you go. I can give that to you as a coach, providing that to you. That's the modeling concepts that when anytime you're doing something as a coach, as a person that's doing this, you've got to be intentional. Everything's intentional. We sat around for 2 or 3 different sessions talking about what amounts to the 2 sessions you've gone in right now and some of the other stuff, talking about the intentional nature of what we're going to do. That's important. Every piece of this is intentional, and I'll keep deconstructing as we go through so you can see it. All right. If you can introduce yourself to your group, yeah, that'd be great. Just kind of quickly say, hey, I'm so-and-so, just really quickly. Just let them know who you are.
Jan Hosey, Huntsville City Schools.
I'm gonna do
Now, here's the fun part.
I know your faces. I know.
Everybody in the group, please go around in a circle and tell yourselves what month you were born in. Very quickly.
What month you were born in?
May.
January.
Do you not know?
Okay. June. How many were May?
I'm born in
May.
Okay, now here's the fun part. I need you to get yourself in order based on that month. And we start in January, folks, and we go through December, in case you're trying to figure it out. Get yourself going real quick, and you're about to move, so you want to go close stuff up.
She's already done
it. In a circle, like in order, you need, because you're mixing count yourself off and move, so don't get comfortable.
So you're one, Jen's one.
I'm January.
All right, Beth two. What's y'all day? What day?
I'm July.
3, 4, then Valerie,
April.
then me, then Kay.
Okay. That's okay. Step ahead.
Well, there we go.
All right.
It's pretty fabulous.
Thank you. I've got extra on that. I have passed. I got it itchy. They got me all that.
You're currently in what's called an expert group. You're in what's called an expert group. You all are the same experts on the same subject, right? Okay, now, jigsaws are difficult, so I gotta make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. All right, so I'm kind of doing a backwards way. I don't do a jigsaw, so I'm still right though. I believe I'm right. So what you're gonna do in your line, starting with January, you're gonna number yourselves off 1, 2, 3, 4, however it needs to be. And then what we're gonna do is if you're a 1, you're over here. 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s if we gotta have them. You're just gonna start, you need groups of 3. Why groups of 3 do you think? 3 things, right? So you're all gonna come together, you're gonna have an expert from each area, right? So you're gonna come together, okay? So you gotta number yourself off. You're gonna put your 1s kind of over here, kind of flow over to your 2s, your 3s, your 4. So your room, you figure it out, okay? All right.
1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to be somewhere around this table over here. 5.
We'll knock that down. We're good. Noise.
Yeah, we'll go there. 3.
So some ones over here. Y'all find your friends.
Oh, good. You can choose whatever.
Hi, Jackie.
Just as long as it can be with somebody, that's fine. So we've got all my, where are my 1s at? 1s? Okay, where's my 2s? 2s are here? Y'all 2s? 2s, 3s? 3s, where are we at here? Crazy, all 3? 3, 4 over here? 5's back over here? And then y'all 6. Okay, good. Okay, you can stay with you. Stay with it. Okay. Now, let me stop and tell you something. Stop and say something I find very important about all this. And anything that you're doing. To be on this side of the fence, you can think through things 100 times. Sometimes when you get ready to do them, it doesn't flow exactly like you had it in your mind, which is what's happening to me right now. I'm bluntly honest when I do these trainings because you need to know that this is what happens. So in this situation, it's not flowing exactly the way I wanted it to go because it's not, my jigsaw activity isn't working exactly like I wanted it to because it's a little bit different than I normally do. So I've got 2 choices as a coach, and you'll have this happen to you. I can say, it's on the PowerPoint. I got to go exactly how the PowerPoint says. I'm not going to. Because what I'm doing now is I'm going to make a change in my head. I'm only telling you because I'm demonstrating for you. Okay? If I wasn't demonstrating for you, you would never know the difference. But this is what I feel like you need as a coach is to see these things happen. So what we're going to do, and I'll tell you what the change was when we get done. Don't worry. I'll tell you what it was. I just want you to know there's been a change, and we'll reference it in a few minutes. What I'd like for you to do in your group is I'd like for the 3 of you to discuss the different coaching models. There should be 1 expert in each group now, right? 1 expert in each group. We might have 2, and that's fine. That's fine. You're going to have odd numbers. Don't worry about it. I want you to discuss these with each other. You read the material, and you've got to teach these other people about the ones they didn't learn about. Okay? Can you do that? Everybody knows? All right, go to it.
In all the departments that are they were they didn't want to come back.
I was concerned about like they may go out and turn around their schools, but that doesn't necessarily matter. So that's a concern for a lot of times because there's so many nurses
Y'all ready? My bag.
It talks about instructional materials, one-on-one, like in small groups, and then also professional development. Being reflective of
So I'm like, so you're contradicting yourself. And then they would say things like, they will be charged to like, instructional. She has these large groups. So. She asked them to reflect that, then she which and then she's like, she comes to the next and she has her I'm in my society.
Almost like a cringe if they saw me outside the door and okay, she's coming to that's my structure, job I had the opposite of secondary to an relationship.
Yes.
Just be there, right? And teachers are very interesting. If you come to an outside teacher, a lot of times and the kids article to your teachers, but they said they can do their own, how the kid feel to the out. It's not being taken straight. They look at it and they look at it and you look at it. To turn it back on the teacher and have them say, after you do the practice. So, for example, they're trying to get you again, regular coach you would stay like the purpose is for lesson where you that's not the biggest difference. It's very different. This article
so it's not judgment. Follow along with teachers and I'm up here. I'm not through this
Pause the conversation. You're already doing this, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you the next little piece because I'm already hearing it out in my groups. Make sure you're discussing the similarities and the differences between each of your coaching styles. Okay, go ahead.
Yours is the all of those coaches did. So that would be I think it's a relationship. They come up and then how they actually.
I love that show.
They all have their journals and journals with the long being I finished from your secondary teacher.
I read something before.
So they just grab their
I think I read like it's not always to see, it's for the teachers.
Well, the thing is, even taking a conversation, like you can see from sure. I know I hear you talk about it. You already got
We've got about 5 minutes to working on that activity. Bring all this together. So you've got about 5 minutes of discussion time.
Teachers walking in and.
encouraging creativity.
It is something that I see that parents teachers
You know, my mind was like this. And it did have, we have the other part of the they're all teaching the same thing. You know, there's you can't give her things that are wrong business.
It is hard to say, maybe you should go try this. You got to the question of they're going to go try that themselves, and then what are they going to try?
There's definitely
And that's like maybe it's just like a life.
But it will come. Two minutes to wrap up conversations.
Before you
About a minute.
Boards and stuff, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do the thing where you show me on your hands how many more minutes you might need. This would be 5, this would be 1. Does anybody need any more time? Okay. Next step in what we're doing. I need you, the three of you that have made these discussions before, I need you to please create an infographic of your choice. I don't care what you use. It can be a drawing. It can be an infographic like specific sites you go to. I don't care what it is you do it in, but I need you to create an infographic that explains the similarities, the differences between the three models you looked at. So you talked about it, now you got to show others about it. So I need you to create that as something that you can upload, because we're going to go into Canvas and upload it when you get done.
There's an assignment out there by your group.
Yeah, there's an assignment in your area. And I'll get them to put that up in just a minute so you can see it. But for right now, you need to create some kind of infographic. One per group. One per group. Okay. Remember, you look at differences and similarities.
Y'all have one? Well, yeah, so maybe it's almost like, the simplest thing would be like three.
That's what I was gonna have.
Do the infographic. We all have about 10 minutes. It's got to be fairly quick. About 10 minutes.
No pressure.
You're super talented.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, so we would go like here and one here, and instructional, and the things that they were saying. Focus on relationship.
You had to find them, Kelly?
To do the similarities.
The teacher really is.
And then the feedback where you mentioned, let's do something, we create something like this.
Thank you for arriving.
So we've got 3 of them. Coaching could be in the middle.
Self-evaluation, self-analysis,
Do you want it to be whatever you want?
You coach you out of the room here in instruction. I know. Should travel with it.
yes.
Instructional is this more.
So maybe the teacher is the expert.
whereas the coach is the expert,
Yeah.
as together we're the experts.
These three, well, I mean, we've seen three on it's the one to overlap. It's hard. I want to say this, I think it's small. Should we go to one? I don't know. Yeah, we really don't think it should go forward. Right, because wherever they stop free.
I have to do it all day.
I was just thinking that, be sure council in the better, so we're gonna do some live comments.
You have to do all the work. Why don't you all do that?
No.
Okay.
We can use these.
JJ and FECS K-12
And Jay-Z Hosey. Jay-Z like zebra.
Suggestions, comments?
You want to start, who wants to be the driver and typing? What if you type in all the different sizes? Type in yours. Okay, so I'll put a type in your letter.
I don't have it in here. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, like, kind of stuff, we can do that, but that's okay. However, we get into that housing fund.
So is anybody got theirs up there yet?
Hopefully, so.
Do y'all know your first number?
Yeah. When you get ready to turn it in, you should be able to go to your Canvas class, and you should have an assignment for this.
Just upload your whatever it is. Image, PDF, link.
Relationship.
You're playing cards, but you're shuffling. Type of this first to turn on the lights. There's three of them. You should have a card that said what is but again, there's a want the instructions.
We can just say that that's what it is.
There it is. I think that was
Just to save space.
so instructions.
Thank you.
Okay, got a few more minutes. Just keep putting some more information in there.
In the middle. So non-judgmental coach, you should be in there. Like that. That's what we're all in. Yeah, I think it's relationships. I mean, it feels good. Yeah.
What if we put it on? Yeah, and then you've got a Pixelmating gift. I've already saw it.
So the place you're going to upload this now is called Infographic 2. The other was assigned to groups and you couldn't get to the right things, whatever, so it's called Infographic 2. Infographic 2.
Right.
Split them into groups, depending on the groups they're in now.
You've got only a few more minutes, so whatever you've got, start wrapping up. So we need to get it uploaded so we can present.
Upload what you got. To infographic 2, just ignore the other assignment because it was not in the crackers. Yes. Just one of them.
Just one person has to upload.
I've only got one picture though.
4, 5, 6, 3, 6. 6 in there.
If you have to upload it, I'll share this.
What did you do? Infographic 2.
What did you say?
Infographic 2, I think it's under assignments.
It's grayed out. It doesn't matter. Y'all don't have to.
I don't see it.
You have an announcement.
I'm so like, I don't know. I'm sure I held away. Yeah. We got Moodle or we got
Really put a king or queen on that with a crown. Where to? It's a really good one. That's a good one. This state's really good.
We're getting just right. 1 second. Refresh the assignments.
The assignments on the left.
There you go. You should have one specific reference to.
You said as a video.
It's a demographic 2. Yeah, that's the one there. Yeah.
Not active.
Not active. Yeah, because that was the wrong groups. So.
Yeah.
If you're ready to upload the whole chart, let us know.
Just unpublish it.
We're on Canvas.
And then what's above there, just unpublish.
We're going to do assignments. Should be on the inside. You may have to refresh your page. Assignments should pop up. Should have popped up.
So you can either submit a link or a file.
Hers is actually not even popping up. The
assignments.
Here is, written assignment.
Yep, there it is. She's got it.
I don't know. Assuming.
Yeah, you see assignments right there, and there's infographic 2, so just click right there. Yeah.
I could share the link if I was doing a link.
got the
We'll
link.
have to make the link.
Make sure it's removed the link.
Infographic 2, you see the blue.
All right, we need to go ahead and get them uploaded. Whatever you got in there, whatever you got in there, that's what we got to do.
We're almost there, we're almost there. Then there's
Well, yesterday, I had all kinds of things.
I love this for conference.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
Good job. Thank you.
Excellent team.
It didn't get perfect.
It's not perfect. Hey, turning it imperfection, right?
Yes. And because
Just one person in your group needs to upload. No, as long as you can identify the when you go to
It can be perfect, and the time has been that we need.
I've been trying to other ones myself. I didn't even look back when I was trying to.
Okay, yes.
We're gonna have to.
All right, we're like, I've got to go, we're out of time, so if you've got something, please upload it.
They did the same way, yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna start.
Your group can come up
Beth, where are we at?
Back in your group.
Just a quick.
You can do it from there, that's fine. Just a second time, we're gonna bring this up, and we're gonna share. And we're gonna, someone from the group, please explain to everyone your model.
I love this activity. I really liked it. And the things that we thought were the similarities were that there was not coaching. The different models were all non-evaluative, confidential, encouraging, reflective, with a goal to improve instruction.
All right.
Okay. Hold on now. Give me one difference that you saw between these three? Maybe between two of them, or what's one thing that was different from your group?
I think with peer coaching, you've got teachers and teachers together and not necessarily an expert. Like, I'm not gonna tell them, you know, where it was viewed as equal versus someone telling you this is the way, you know, the best way to do it.
Okay, good. All right. Who wants, next group that wants to go? Give me somebody's name. You gotta look by somebody.
Kim?
Kim? All right, Kim. Let's see if we can find yours.
Should we just go in order?
Okay. All right, so I hope you guys got it. All right, so.
Who's
All right, this is back. All right, somebody want to explain to us?
Okay, we had the same kind of concept idea of trying to figure out a way to display, and this was a great activity. However, we were completely stressed with turning in imperfection. So we looked at it as breaking it down into the how, the why, and the what even. And so looking at peer, we were talking about the peer was more of the how, you know, the pre-conference, the observation, the post-conference, that it is peer-to-peer, that it is colleague to colleague. You're not an administrator correcting, you are, your whole purpose is for the things in the center, which is building relationships, best practices, effective communication, improved student learning, and other things listed as well. And then the cognitive
is more of the why or the how. It's or the thinking behind coaching, being reflective and trying to figure out the reasons behind the choices that the teachers are making and what we can do to improve.
Okay. Well, the next group. I'm sorry. Instruction.
We just talked about how, and she had a really great sentence in one of her articles that talks about just supporting the existing strengths of the teacher, while also expanding their knowledge and expanding their abilities so that they can be successful, you know, without you. You're essentially coaching them that they'll know what to do and can be successful. I like that.
If you guys have ever used one of the new Macs with one of those crazy, stupid new touch pads.
Wait, have we done this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Group 6 and 7.
Lisa, this is yours?
Y'all
Okay.
join?
All right.
We, very similar to everyone else's, we, had our cognitive and instructional and peer group, and in the center we had our overlapping just coaching commonalities, and of those coaching commonalities, we had the non-evaluative, non-judgmental, building those relationships, calling them, being reflective processes, and the conferencing was common. We'll talk about peer.
We thought the peer-to-peer and the instruction were very similar, a lot more so than the cognitive. There were some, you can't do any of them without a relationship, so we really knew that was the biggest thing. But with the cognitive, they built the relationship throughout the process of the journaling so that the people who share journals, they were more comfortable with doing that. With our technology coaching, that relationship really, you need to build it before, because if they're not going to trust you if they are not comfortable with you. So you have to be, you have to build that before you can do anything else.
Awesome. Okay. Next one down. Can we do it real quick? I'm gonna look like I'm on here too.
Because you can't look at this.
This is when the technology makes you fun. Okay, so. All right, here we go. Got it. All right, who's this one? Okay. Picture, that's exciting.
Visual learner.
I love it. All right.
So for the peer, there isn't an expert. The coach isn't the expert, but neither is the teacher, because it's all about dialogue. And I did re-upload it with dialogue still correct.
I would never know. I promise you, I would never know.
And you are true partners, working for a common goal. I found it interesting that in the peer model, the teacher picks her own goal that she wants to meet, and the coach stays with that peer, of course, it could take several coaching scenarios until the goal is met in one of the articles out.
It's not just the one in them.
All right. Yeah, anything at the bottom here, things you want to point out that we didn't? Okay.
Cognitive, I'd like to point out that it kind of takes on a Socratic method of working with the teacher, which is the way I like to teach in the classroom. When I talk in the classroom, I think that it helps that teacher be the problem solver and that teacher have more tools through all the self-reflection, the questions that are being asked. Why did you do this lesson? Why did you choose to do this activity in the lesson? What results came out of that? Is it worth doing again? It's just very evaluative. I love
How the coaches can identify each other. Somebody posted, I think it was Susan Brand, they posted on the app and said, how might something. That is such a like cognitive coach statement. How might you, we saw it on the table, we're like, yeah, I think she's a cognitive coach. Because it's such a cognitive coach type thing, yeah.
I think in that situation too, the teacher has to become comfortable with admitting or trying to identify where that next level that she can go. And I think that's really powerful in the coach trying to get them to get there without just saying, here's where we're going.
Let me tell you how to get there.
Yeah.
Did the instructional one, and it was interesting to me because I listened to the podcast that went along with one of the articles that you gave us. And so they would say in there that the coach is not the expert, and yet the teacher had to practice her lesson. She had to plan it collaboratively with the coach and then practice it in front of the coach and get feedback from the coach, which is implicitly judgmental then, I thought. So it does kind of set in that scenario anyway, set the coach up as the expert in it. And supposedly the coach collaborated with the teacher, but then she said, but then I picked the goal that made the biggest difference, I thought would make the biggest difference in her classroom. And the guy said that too in the two podcasts.
Yeah.
So it was sort of,
Yeah.
they said one thing.
They did another.
Yeah.
I noticed that you put coaches expert there and everybody else puts it I can see that, and sometimes I review.
Yeah, well, in the podcast, that was what struck me about it.
We have two groups combined. We have one that
Very
says
fresh and
nothing in there.
We're slow.
Okay.
Their dialogue's over. Here it is.
Alright, so, okay, got it. Right. You were the ones who were mad at me. Well, you guys were taking it out on me like that. We didn't have time here. Now I just can't wait. Here we go. Tell us Shh, don't let that get out.
Instructional coaches connect on with one another, provides fresh perspective, and we're not evaluated.
Okay.
And then cognitive coaching is a non-judgmental approach. It's also reflection. There's a lot of it that happens after the lesson, talking about the processes.
Good. So an infographic that's different than what you normally see. That's right. We want to get variety. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, what tool did you guys use? You want to share that? Canva? Okay, cool. And we have one more here somewhere, right? This is the other one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ours looks nowhere near as good.
Yeah, now you're like, no, I'm not like.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, it's totally. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you guys think? What'd you say?
Well, we said that really we felt like there was more commonalities than there were dissimilarities. Does that sound right? But we felt like they all were centered around the relationships first, and if you had to, as a coach, establish that relationship with the teacher that you would be working with, because there's no, like, what the reason is as to why you're with that teacher. It could be that they're on a cycle where the principal said, hey, they need some help, or it could be one volunteer basis to where they want to be working with you, and then also figuring out what style is going to work best for that teacher. The cycle method that we felt like they all use pretty much the same cycle of have that pre-conversation, the observations, the post, and to sit around purposeful conversations, reflection, and it's not evaluative for them. And everything else everybody said about that.
Yeah, I think you guys got it. You're at the end presenting, you're kind of saying, yeah, let's same. You know, we saw all these different presentations, but there's a lot of similarities between coaching models. And there's just little flavors of each one, right? For whatever you like to do. And like I said, you're going to find more in your book that just take you in a different direction. But if you even look at the front of your book, it kind of has a diagram. It talks about I looked at it last night. It's the plan, reflect, whatever they call it. Each one of these has a diagram which is all identical to that type thing. So it's all in there. Okay, so you may return to a seated table. And I'll just quickly, while you're getting back where you were going. Yeah, just wherever you like to sit. You can stay right, because I'm sure they said move around. So I had great memes, but I messed all this up. I'll tell you why I messed it up, and I'll tell you what a jigsaw activity is. The jigsaw activity that you just did, if you've never done one, basically consists of 3 steps: home groups, expert groups, home groups. Well, what we did with you guys was different, and it kind of messed with my head quite a bit, which was you were expert groups first. When you got the articles first, you were already expert groups. So when I tried to form home groups, I actually just put you back in like mixed up expert groups. So instead of panicking and saying, oh God, we can't do this activity, make a change to what fits. That's what you got to do when you're coach. You got to change to what worked. Did the activity work? Did you get what you needed? Okay, I felt like you did. I'm looking at things thinking you've achieved everything I've asked. I do have some homework for you though. I did want to show this one. You get to present, you get to present. Yeah, I love it, of course, one of my favorite ones. However, you have homework, but I put a kitty cat on it to make it cute. And I'll bring it up. It's not a present note. Sorry, because we've been messing around up here. You have homework tonight. And it is to simply complete the cute little kitty cat's request. I used to think, but now I think. This is a good reflective activity. We were going to do it as a group, but we're running out of time. There, up there is the actual QR code. It's linked. Actually, when you go into your class, there's a giant like blue Padlet. You can click on there and use it. All you got to do is say, I used to think X. I used to think I could jump off a building, but now I know better. Okay? That's what we're looking for. Before you go to the luau tonight, take care of that. We're not going to continue on it right now just because we don't have time. But that's your homework. One statement.
Go ahead and get that, and then take a 5-minute break, go to the bathroom, and come back, and we'll get started with the next part. 5 minutes. The only bathroom is down here on the end. There's water in the back as well.
Hopefully they're not on break, right? The other groups aren't on break right now? Good. Perfect.
Assuming that's related to our activity we just did. I used to think, but now, or is that related to? Okay.
And there's also your campus course, so you can get it from there too.
Where is it?
If you go into like the very first list of all your resources, it's right at the top.
Probably section. Look at the second module, second week. It's under the resources page. I think you're in the presentation.
Do you need names
I
on?
thought
Do you
of
need names on these?
It's mostly just for you guys to reflect yourself.
Well, I scanned it, but it just took me.
Should have taken, now you can go to the campus, so you can go right to it. It goes to your, section 2, section 2. And that should have your, like, the first station. The first thing should be the actual tab, I'm not sure how to go for you.
Yes.
You always did line stuff.
This have the examples of all the things out because it's on that slide.
What's that?
I see what they
Technology effective, that's where I got the
Okay, when you go to 11, actually raise this needs to do. You don't walk over your
we looked at
If you go to your schools, you go to your 2, the assignments, resources, activities, should be in there. I think we've got one out.
Okay, so you might have a 45 or 50 second, I'll just let you know. You might. Hey, he can send Mr. Wilson to go get ice cream for everybody.
That wasn't a question.
It's downstairs. It's downstairs. Great. Oh, he's in the chart, I mean, the Charlie thing. All right, you're all back.
She got it off the end. I thought she was doing it, but she didn't. Google superpowers. And then you password.
All right.
We good to go? So maybe we'll have an opportunity to get ice cream in just a second. So just as a reminder, they posted this yesterday. This was the last question and the Twitter question, so make sure you've done that. So we're not going to take the time right now, just to make sure you go back and look. Make sure you hit the hashtag.
That's pretty deep, isn't it? I see a lot of you've already done your Padlet.
Yeah. All right, so this morning, the first section you talked about the different coaching styles. So we're going to let you look at some scenarios that some of my friends in Madison County have created. Some, we're not calling it bad coaching, but we're calling it uncoaching. So there are 8 videos that are out there. We're gonna divide you up into some teams. So we're gonna divide you up into some teams and let you kind of see what was bad or uncoaching situations, and then what would you do differently? So. Yeah, just click on present. I did. No, don't click on that, just click on the, right there. I did.
It's that mouse telling you. It's weird.
It's just like that.
Yeah, it's like-
All right, so because of time constraints, we don't have enough time to do everything. There's a really, really cute video I want you guys to watch about what a coach is. And it's using movie clips. So a coach is a partner, and I think that's like Harry Potter or whatever, a mentor, a friend, and it has, who's the guy who,
There's no crying in baseball.
he's
Tom
in there,
Hanks.
yeah, a companion, and that's the guy that Tom Hanks, who was he, and the shrimp guy, what was that movie?
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, yeah. So there's some really cute ones, a helper, a coach, an advocator, adventurer, cheerleader, all the way down to a comrade. So y'all take some time to look at that. It's 4 or 5 minutes. We just don't have 4 minutes to spare today. So feel free to look at that. So what we want you to do now is, and there it is. So I'm going to give you a link, and it's actually there in the resources area, to some video. We're going to divide you up into groups. And there's an uncoached example. So I've given you a template to copy. So when you do that, that's going to add it to your Google Drive, and you'll add that the video that's the bad coaching, and then you look through and see what are the mistakes. There's going to be some blatant mistakes there, things that they're doing that you as a coach would never do, I'm sure, but you've probably heard about it in the past. And then the second slide is going to be you guys making a short little video, and don't worry about perfection, okay? Because I've told these other guys it was first takes, and so they're saying, "Oh, can I go back and retake it?" No. So just very fast, you two of you kind of together, just kind of doing that same scenario. It doesn't have to be the same topic that they're talking about, but trying to take that situation. Then we'll kind of discuss it at the end. We'll kind of do a show and tell at the very end, and then you'll kind of point out what did you do to kind of change it into a positive coaching situation. So. I know that makes perfectly good sense there. So to get you there, I give you the instructions here in the slideshow. All right, so you're going to go in, you're going to look at it, you're going to determine the mistakes, you're going to create your own video. You can upload it to Flipgrid if you need to. To go to Flipgrid, kind of put the camera in front of you too, y'all kind of do it. Or what we did, we just picked up the phone and just get somebody to video it for you. Jeremy, myself, and Cameron can do that for you, or somebody out in the hallway, and then just upload it to YouTube somewhere. Just give us the link inside this. Either way would be fine. And then you'll take those 2 slides, and we'll put them all in one slideshow. Hey, I know it sounds like a bunch, and you get extra points if you can come up with these 8 elements that are in standard number 2 of the ISTE standards for coaches. If you kind of try to find some way. It's okay if you don't. Like I said, we're running a little bit short on time. But pay attention to these. And we kind of highlighted what we thought was important. That each of these elements all dealt with that teaching, learning, and assessing.
I'm totally lost.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to back it up here. I'm just trying to kind of talk through because I feel like we're out of time. So let's break into groups first of all. So group number 1 is Christy and Beth. And Wendy, if you can move into that group. Group number 2 is Angie and Amanda. Y'all can see names. Just Katie moved to group 2, and Sarah moved to group 3. So the number is 9 or 10. So if you'll get to your photos. Yeah.
We knew.
Yes. All right.
Jan, everybody, all right.
Find you more too.
No.
Sounds good to me.
There's not 9 and 10. Group 2. All right. Just find you a sitting down place now, right? Everybody there? Now, in your Canvas course, go to modules and open up the resources page. Jump back here. In the resources page, there are some videos. Okay, so y'all remember your group number? Do y'all not remember your group number? Can you put that up one more time? And make sure, because we want to make sure that all.
All right, we never use my computer again. That's the official statement.
The reason
We're gonna let you be the master here. You be the master guy, yes. All right, so who's group 1? Okay, so everybody, who's group 2? Y'all know who you are?
Yes.
Okay, everybody know your numbers? Okay, you guys don't know.
Group 7.
Okay. There are only 8 groups. So have y'all found the Canvas course, you found the module, and you found the resources page in session number 2? Got it? Okay, so the directions are, you're going to watch a bad coaching scenario, an uncoaching scenario. Once you watch it, I want you to kind of discuss with your partner there, what was bad, what was wrong about it, what kind of coaching is it? You know, is it like, or what's the main distraction that's in there? Once you determine what that is, then what could you do to turn it around and make it a good coaching scenario? And then I want you to take your phone and y'all try to go through and just do the same kind of thing. Now, my folks here talked a whole lot about Canvas. Y'all don't have to use the word Canvas, and maybe you're going to say it's Seesaw or it's some other standard that you're working with. Some project in a math class. It doesn't have to be really technology related. So then just make sure, and then you say, what did you change from that bad situation and make it into a good coaching strategy there? Thinking about all those things that you just learned earlier today in all your readings. And then these are those 8 elements of ISTE standard number 2, which is teaching, learning, and assessment.
Yeah.
And if you can kind of work your way into your conversation, you're kind of adding this in, like you're addressing some content standards, or the second one there, you're looking at some research-based, learner-centered strategies. So if you could just think of some of those. And you don't have to be expert on the words. Don't get caught up on making it perfect. We just kind of want to get you the idea. You can recognize something that's really not a good situation there. So we thought this would be kind of a fun activity for you. Also, you get to use your creative sides here. Feel free to get out and move out the hallway wherever you need to make this video, because it'll be loud in here if you're all doing it together. And if you want to go and listen to it the same way. Some of them are quite funny. I use some of my technology. We don't have technology coaches. We have technology mentors. They're just regular classroom teachers. And then some of our former instructional coaches who are now administrators at the central office, so they do some of the videos. So does that make better sense now? I know, I'm trying to hurry. I should have just slowed down. I am so aware of what time it is. Go. Okay, so does that make sense to everyone? Questions? Now's the perfect time to ask questions if you got one.
We're going to watch the video.
Yeah.
On this coaching example, or is this certain video here? Is that the one we made?
Yeah. So you're going to so we want everybody to see the bad coaching. So if you'll just get that link, I think there's a little arrow in the upper corner, just grab that link and put it on your slide. Okay, if you scroll down just a little bit below the videos. Yeah. Yes. The second slide, you'll put your good video.
What do we need to be done by? So what is our good video?
What is our time, y'all?
Well, it was.
Okay, can y'all do this in 20 minutes? Okay.
We can pick out one thing we're on.
Yeah, that's good. 20 minutes. So you're doing one video, okay? One video.
One video. Okay, choose one wrong.
Oh, so you've got one already. So this is the bad. All you're going to put it on your slide.
And it's
Everybody
family
really
work.
everybody's
Team and companies, that's what we.
I can think of all.
Okay, so we don't need to do that.
Yeah, Eddie, you can, we'll just kind of play it by ear.
Yes.
They all get much
Because I can watch them later on at this point. We just kind of wanted to look at them so they kind of know. You know, I started out just in 60 seconds and I have to learn those 2 minutes. I know they have
Okay, so she asked a question. He confirmed what she was asking. She sounds good so far. Oh, yeah. Instead of.
They can kind of talk with it.
And then he did it really fast. She might have been able to process. He did not really, he didn't show the process. And then he was,
He was unwilling to tell her how, or explain, or demonstrate. Well, he did demonstrate, he was did.
Well, he closed the door, I said, you should be able to do it instead of opening the door and giving her a moment to try and do it.
He was unwilling to teach her. Didn't respect her willingness to improve either.
Oh, yeah, there's different closed doors, lots of respect. Nothing was taught.
Yeah, and I said,
Implementation or technology. Address content. We're supposed to kick out.
What was it she was asking? We could show her how to share something. Okay. So let's say, we could video this, one of us the coach, one of us asking that same question, and then the other one comes in and we say, okay, you see this, here's your document, and you do it, and share.
Which one is down there?
Now you just walk through, and now you do this, and now you do this, and then I would say,
And they are in that
I'll do that. Because he was acting rushed, so then I was, we've done it, now you've done this, now we'll see if you remember what we did. And so go ahead and open blank, and then you and then you're gonna share it.
Oh, get your clean time.
And then we'll watch you and see what you did.
10 minutes?
15 minutes. Yeah. Does that sound like a plan? It was to be the coach, it was to be the doer.
I'll be the doer, be the coach. And
You're what you did in there, we'll go out. I think we're at in here.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it, I'm up to you.
Let me do this, let me open up,
So which video did y'all get?
Oh, I know why I was.
Okay, yes.
That's what you do, right click, you try to go there. That's what you do.
Which video did y'all get?
Okay, these are I want to share my documents with my students, and he just pushed right away. It's done.
Okay, so what was he doing?
He just took the control and shut her down. And he was not wanting to teach, he just, it was a bigger thing.
He just wanted to fix it.
He just wanted to fix it, so that's what we did.
Yep.
So we're gonna recreate that to write.
Exactly. Absolutely. What would you do differently than what they did?
Okay, I've got these two documents. So.
I do need to look at it, I haven't looked at it yet, like, I just got this computer probably, about a week ago. And I don't use it, like, I have a touchpad on my desk, so I never use this.
Okay, this we are only one, sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
We did one and just got so tickled just because I had to, that's the only one I let redo.
Yes, I've only got a few minutes. I think I can try.
Thank you so much today. Yes, that's right. So I'm working with my students on command forms, and I just need to take what I have created and put that in Canvas so my students can access it. That sounds great. Just forward their data to canvas.com, and get logged in, and then, click over here, and get your gifts up right here. And it's just right there. Okay. I could never find a button for it. Yeah, that's perfect. Well, as always, any more questions? Thanks for your time.
That's got a
So what's your video? Someone more than stacking questions, just giving information. So she said, well, here's a great handout on something. And she tried to tell me that Excel spreadsheets. I mean, big letters, it's like, I don't know, symbol or whatever. So did you see the Excel sheet?
Yeah. System-wide. So you just think she'd say, well, it's the same, you know.
What
about your, usually it's just not. What about your regular?
So we gotta make a video of this. So what are we gonna say? An hour we're gonna make it. Did that? Do we have to do it in Flipgrid? No. Okay. It might be easier to do it. Just let me give somewhere and just record it. Okay. So how about?
It's not.
We turn it, we're gonna want to turn it with this insurance.
So you're gonna be the one who's in video.
Maybe he's for the tilt it down. There we go. Okay. Just to see if you can on this side. Okay.
Because that way we're getting the laptop.
Okay.
Yes.
So, all right, ready?
How about that?
There we go.
We got there.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, Lisa, I'm so glad you're here. I have an assignment I want to deliver to the students dealing with some group work on an essay.
I did that with kids too.
And I don't know how to share this Google Doc. Can you show me?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You see that button up there? And I'm not gonna do it, you're gonna do it yourself. But it says share. If you click that button, share it, that does, but look, if you want your students to be able to edit your original document, then you would leave it with this computer here, but you're not gonna probably to be able to edit it.
Ms. Anderson, I heard you needed me.
I want to be able to have a copy and edit that copy. But my instructions and all are in the format that's on this document, so I want them to.
So first of all,
We have a couple different options that we can do. So let's go.
okay. So are you there already?
Oh, it's, no,
Okay.
it's,
So do you
it just
remember
gives you more information. It's not advanced.
Okay, so let's get you first.
See change in there.
What is
This
the
private
logging in
access
that?
that, so we can change that.
Remember your
And we're also going to to change this to anyone with the link.
Okay,
Go ahead and
what
then
link are we, what does that mean?
click those dots.
The link is going to be the link that they can click on to the internet, because this is a web-based program, so it's not going to
That's the link to this actual.
It's a link to your document.
Okay, and then your
So, go ahead. Okay, that means that they can only view it with the camera.
Alright.
But we're gonna, I'm gonna show you.
Somebody's calling.
There's this little way where they can force them to make it students, because you can always share it with them and tell them you need to make a copy before you take it, because we're gonna do that. But there is another way, but so we're just gonna do one step at a time. We're just gonna get it to you. So move that side. I know.
And I will be
The names that you want to be able to do. So you can do it in different ways. You can
You got me.
Yes. And you know what you did? You can use that QR code.
No, that's okay. That is what I do.
And if you just had one or two people you wanted to use, where it said type in an email address, you can just type in an email address.
I'm a little bit unsure.
Okay, go ahead.
So what should I do? Can I do it again?
Yes, I want you to do it again.
All right, don't count.
But I'm not gonna tell you, I'll stop you if you're doing anything and I'm not.
Okay, so there's my document. Okay, so there's I don't want it private, so we're changing it. What are you
Okay, so,
You're forgetting one step. What else does it say? And now that has been shared with all of them. I think you got it. I got it. Okay, can you copy anytime? And if don't worry, if you're asking me the same question, it's okay. It takes doing this over. You're welcome.
That's way over a minute. I was thinking, oh my gosh. I was trying.
she's 3 minutes. Let's start here.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna focus.
Okay, here it is. You have to leave it.
And
we gotta go straight to, maybe we don't even need to talk about this. Maybe we let them know what you're about to do. And then you get done. Yeah, like I tell you my problem, I tell you, I push you, and I don't know how to do it. And you say, okay, I'm gonna walk you through this for you. And then if we don't do it.
I just trashed you.
We can't do this in a minute.
We made a 4-minute video.
Well, it's okay.
It's hard.
try to pick somebody's mess up.
Don't say you want to share it with all students. Say, I want to share this with my students. And then I'll show you. You want to do the share? Or you want to do the link? Let's do the link. Let's do the link. Okay, please share with us. And I won't even talk about the copy.
I think we can click through all of these really quickly, and then you say, how's that? Okay, it'll work.
All right. In my mind, that's what we did.
Okay, ask me a question.
And Jamie, were you ready to look over there?
Please,
Try it. See if you just make change.
I have a project,
Okay.
well, instructions with the project for group one class. And I want all my classes to have a copy.
Make sure you get it in this presentation.
Have you ever shared a document before?
Yeah.
Okay. Look on your screen there, and there is a share button. You see that? Click that for me. Alright, and, this one, if you will click on advanced, because some of the people you would share with may not be advanced. Okay, and you see where it says change? Okay, you're gonna need to make it say editable link, because right now it's restricted. Okay.
And then I guess this is what I want.
Okay, if you want them to be able to edit this document, then you will need to change that. Okay. And you could do it, and once you don't have it, read it, that's fine. Okay, now, click that done. Go back to share. Do you see where it says copy link? Choose that. And I don't have a copy. Okay, so I can get this to okay. But if you hit copy, you still have to share the same. Okay. Yeah, I'll change my one on your own.
Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs.
And if you have any other questions, you just hit copy.
I know what I was going to do, and I think if we end it, it'll be okay. So you can cut.
See, originally the video would have been on.
So is that for the screensaver picture?
That's okay. No, it's
Yeah.
just put the link on there.
I was trying to make it split. Oh, I know, yeah. And
Make sure you get it in the presentation.
I've already put it in there. I just had the video already in there. That's for stop time. Okay, now we need to do the second one. Do we have the video yet?
Yeah, so.
What did you do to turn around?
Oh, there is just not very.
What did you do to turn it around? Do something positive.
Stop right there. Yeah, stop.
okay, click the word.
Right there. How about right there? Okay, that might be.
And so, oh, it's because we got the. Get that out.
Right there, right there. Oh, no, yeah. Okay, yeah, there's it. Now, trim. That's awesome.
I didn't know that. Sure.
That's
Everybody knows how to do this. Okay, we gotta put it in our, and it won't be in the wrong time. But do you have that diversity ability on that?
Is it on your website?
Are y'all about to the point you can upload? Does everybody understand what how to go to copy those 2 slides? And then on that resources page, pull up the master Google slide there. Everybody may have to just go and look at it on their own later on.
Okay. Not today.
Did you get ice cream?
Oh, yeah.
You're taking your ice cream.
How long are they giving ice cream? When you do this?
They are. They always get your ice cream on second afternoon.
Oh, they are giving you.
The vendors, downstairs the vendors. Yes, would you mind getting ice cream? As soon as you can, if they, we'll just throw them away. Or hand it out all day. Yeah, that's good. Y'all hurry back. Okay, what groups are missing? So there's 2 there.
Coach,
How much
waiting
the
on it to upload.
Okay.
How about you just say, raise to see if coach teachers
About it. Yes, and y'all just remember the guinea pig.
Okay, it's fine. No, we did it really quick outside. It's just this part. It's no big deal. And this is not your fault. This is not your fault.
What you're talking about, everybody making videos in here and everything. One of the sessions I went to down there, I see someone. She talked about these retro phone chargers that you plug in and it's the mic and it cuts down on the background noise so they don't have to leave. And they were like, hey, it's on Amazon. They come in different colors.
Oh, is it big looking?
It's like a telephone, like an old timey telephone that you hold in your hand. And so you plug it in and it cuts down on the background.
So it's almost like having like headphones.
Yeah, we found our kids, when they pull from the police request, their earbuds have a microphone.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps, I mean, a little bit, it helps a lot.
Like I talk and in your video, you can probably hear me talking there, and I think I talked during this one over here. Page, that last link under activity 2. So y'all were in the.
Waiting on this thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so let's see right there. You were there.
So we need to go to assignments.
Yeah.
Oh, now I have to put that to
And I used to a lot more. So it says teacher learning resources. There. Yeah, just kind of like copy your 2 slides and then yes. Yeah, you can use that too.
Call Erin Sheets. She's my husband. She's not a coach, she's a
Scroll.
She's a coach, but yeah, but when I
One person that's on it, got that too.
Did you copy that?
I just got the first slide. Apparently,
Oh, you're still waiting for that. Yeah, and then just go to the other one. And just make sure you have your team number.
No ice cream left? I'm so sorry. Is there ice cream sandwiches?
All they would say is that I don't
We worked so hard at stairs doing all these projects. We just have the opportunity to come down here.
She said she does need to take a copy.
No, she's not at our, I don't know.
All right, guys, so can I get your attention just a second? As we told you earlier, you guys are the first cohort, so things don't always go as planned. So we're gonna have to stop here. And if you want to finish it as we go, because Cameron needs to move on to hers, and Kelly's asked for 15 minutes at the end.
Okay.
So, would y'all mind just the ones, y'all continue uploading, and we'll get these few that have done theirs, and we'll just kind of look at it and kind of assess a little, you'll get the idea.
Okay. Who is not done?
Okay, so which one was the first one?
Okay, so this is the first. We're gonna look here at this one.
You go to presentation.
Just accept that. I'm waiting on you. So she put the link
So to save some time, we're not gonna show the uncoachable moments there, the bad coaching. But team 6, can you tell us what was bad about the first one? What about your video?
Coach came in rushing, like she was in a huge hurry, and then the teacher was on her phone doing something for Remind, and then the coach got off on, she didn't know about Remind. Could the teacher show her about Remind, but she wasn't good using the phone, could she show her on her computer? And then by the time the teacher said, well, I really want you to come in and show me how to upload this quiz on Canvas, she was like, well, I don't have time, I've got to get my classroom PE, I'll talk to you, I'll come back as soon, or schedule me at another time. Come back.
So it's kind of like she's using the teacher time for her own benefit.
Yeah.
Is that what y'all kind of gathered from that? Okay. So then what did you do to fix it?
You want to watch it?
Watch it.
Yeah. No, we don't have to watch it.
Oh yeah, we want to watch it. It's good. I heard it. It's good. Let's do it.
I really need some help uploading the quiz to Canvas. I think I'll schedule an appointment with my tech coach. Let me go over her calendar. Yep, I've signed up for an appointment now, and she can come to me at this time. Thank you so much for here today. Yes, my pleasure. That's what I'm here for. So I'm understanding that you need help getting your quizzes into Canvas. Yes, that's right. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you're teaching, what standards you're going to be using, and how you're using this for best practices. Yes, so I'm working with my students on landforms, and I just need to take Absolutely, that sounds great. So we're going to go to canvas.com and get logged in, and then, click over here and get your quizzes uploaded right here. That's fantastic. That's exactly what I needed. I could never find that button where to upload. Yes, that's perfect. Well, all right,
very good. So give her kudos. They also found ways to go back to those elements, those 8 elements. And so we talked about the standards and best practices in there. So that's good. What else about it? So you answered the teacher's questions and you were very patient. Yes.
I liked the calendar, which could easily schedule her.
Yes.
And the coach just appeared.
All right.
Everybody get theirs uploaded. If you don't,
it's on the resources.
Yeah, it's in the copy that we made, so we don't have a copy of the slides.
Who's team 8? Okay, these guys here. What was so bad about this one? not bad, but, you know.
Coach
Okay,
overwhelmed
I'll be
the
the copy
teacher
from here now.
with details, and didn't really know, we didn't feel she could object. And that was not because of this.
Okay. Here's what you told me. So kind of fad, go to one of the latest and greatest, and just an evangelist kind of. She was kind of, if y'all look at it later on, she was very excited about everything, but then the teacher kind of had a deer in the headlight kind of looks, you know, going there. So, all right. So what did y'all? Let's see what y'all did.
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, tell you. Go ahead.
No, we want to see the video.
We want to see.
Yeah. While she fixes it, you tell us what did you do then?
So we started with a standard in their group. She focused me in on what exactly I was doing in my classroom, and then she said, okay, here's one tool, let's work through it step by step together.
And that's exactly what I thought too. Just, you can't overwhelm those teachers with too much at once. That's what this girl was, evangelizing, just kind of like, you know, churching it down to them, everything in the Bible. So every new tool that was out there, she was trying to give her. So we're gonna watch them now.
To resources involved.
It was excellent.
Yes.
Oh, we need.
Look at the sound. Is it turned on? Okay. We'll be everything later. All right. Good job, good job. All right, team 4, who's that? Okay. And I want to apologize because this was the one I had most trouble with. These girls giggled and we just had to cut it in the middle of something. When I redid it, I didn't look at the sound. I apologize. So what was wrong? What was the bad coaching situation here?
The teacher asked for help on one specific task, and the coach questioned her about everything but that task, and then didn't help her.
And what did she have in front of her? A checklist. Kind of a checklist. Kind of going through. Yeah. It didn't matter what her problem was. She went back to step 1. You know how to log in. Your kids know how to log in. You know, did you do what
Have your syllabus up there?
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, yes, I
Tell
have
us-
all that, that's not what I need.
Tell me.
All right, so let's see what you guys saw.
Okay, but what is in couple? 12 students have been doing a lot of collaboration with Google Docs lately, and I think it would be a great thing to have to put those Google Docs in graduate students, and I don't know how to get the Google Docs students in. Definitely can do that. That's all. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Good luck finding your data now. I was trying to add one thing.
Yeah.
Logging in, as you're logged in now. So you need to see your slides, so y'all bear with us. And then you do it as Google Drive upload. Okay. And you can click on Google Drive, and you can do Google Notes, and all of a sudden it will stop recording to Google Drive. So it's at any time. So I just have to link it.
All right, so she jumped right to the knee where the bad instance was. I got to go through all these. Number 5. What was the bad thing here? I showed this one just a second.
Can you show me how to share this with my students on Google Drive?
I feel like this sometimes.
Yes, all of them.
Have you ever felt like that?
I was the one that
You should be fine.
No, I was the one that did
That's the whole that's what they people out here. You won't do perfect stuff. You should be fine. All right.
So he fixed it for them, right? Just not fixed it. Y'all ever feel like that sometimes? Just, you know.
Yes.
All right. So what else did you see there? Bad? What did you do to make it good?
I have a project that we're sharing, instructions for the project.
Sorry, we're talking
Group work in my class. And I want all of you guys to get your presentations.
Hey, make sure you get it into this presentation.
Have you ever shared something?
Yeah.
Okay.
look on your screen there, and there is a share button. You see that?
I see it.
Click that for me. Perfect. And it is, if you will click on that, so that some of the people that the share button may not be.
But very good. She didn't want to sit the keyboard and just whatever, so you were good. Letting, I sometimes have to sit on my hands.
Yes, I do too.
Try to do something for people.
Yeah, you can do it.
All right, team number 3, what was the non-coaching loan here? Okay.
So she came in and, said she told her what she needed, but she didn't really listen. She just threw out a bunch of, examples of things that she needed to tell her, but, did not listen to what she needed, which was a new presentation tool. And then she gave her all these options in a big old stack of tutorials and said, bye, see you later. Actually, she didn't say see you later, she just said bye.
Yeah. So just stacking resources rather than trying to find the specific resources, kind of what you did. Now let's see how y'all fix it.
We're done.
Hi, I really need some help with technology if you can help me. Is there any way you can help me revamp my presentations? Mine are a little boring and the kids are really kind of losing interest.
Okay, what are you currently using?
Right now I'm just using PowerPoint, the old PowerPoints that we've been using for years.
Okay, so have you heard of Google Slides or Presents?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I remember you talking about it a little, but tell me a little bit more about it.
Okay, well, Google Slides are using your Google, your G Suite account, and that's something that you have access
So
to.
love the way you use just one tool at a time. All right, which group is this? Well, this is who's the distract.
Oh, that's, I thought there's 3 points on there. Okay, yeah. So there I am, lovely.
Okay. So what was wrong with the video?
She didn't listen. She kept interrupting the teacher, and the teacher actually asked questions, but she didn't even ask her what they were.
Okay. Just trying to get her own point across. Right? Her own. All right. So what did you do to change it?
Beth Parker here, and I'm going to be recording Christy Grayson, an instructional
We had 3 people in our group, and everybody else in the video. We inclusive. I am so happy that we get to work with you today.
Thank you so much. I actually had some questions about Google Classroom.
That's great. That's why I'm here. What can I do for you?
Well, I had a new student call my class, and they're in my physical class, but I don't see them anywhere in Classroom. I don't know how to add them.
Okay, so they're in on now, but they're not showing up on your Google Classroom roll, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So that's no problem. All you need to do is go to the Students tab. You can manually enroll them, or you can even give them the code and they can do it themselves.
That would be perfect. I actually also, we've got a lot of kids enrolling and withdrawing, so that'll be very helpful. What are some ways I can use Google Classroom to differentiate my instruction?
Wow.
Well, the good thing is you can do the Classroom now. You can choose what's their assignments. So if you have a couple of kids that are struggling, or you want them to receive a special assignment for some extra practice, you can go in and manually choose which students receive that. So that gives you a really good opportunity to really pick and choose who gets them.
Thank you so much. I actually had some questions about Google Classroom.
That's great. That's why I'm here.
And I teach Spanish. That redneck accent.
That was it. Which I love it. It was
So you
about.
can read this.
Oh, yeah.
And connected it to this thing, I mean.
And it's connected to the deadlines. The fact that you didn't chop her off like the other girl when she was about to maybe say something really crucial, something that would have changed or made an effect on what she did with technology, like the integration process. So did that get everybody? All 6 of them? So, y'all should wait on your stuff. Right there. Okay.
I'm so excited.
That's just
You sound so
happy. Yeah, it took a while. Which one did you have? Okay.
Good, that was y'all's, okay, here's your actual.
Yeah, so what was wrong in tier 2? I mean, in team 2, did you do tier 2?
She was eating and she said she was little and like rustling her chip bag.
And like, if she did ask the question, she was kind of leading with like the instruments, or like, so the stations worked out well, didn't they? You know?
Yeah.
No, they're horrible.
Yeah, but, yeah, so we tried to do it.
Well, and she was actually an instructional coach, the lady who was the fear tag distractor there.
I think you're fine with all the stuff this time.
Hey, thanks for being up here today. So let's follow up what we did last time. Extension is pretty new to students. Let it go, student responses. Overall, I think it went really well. The students seem to enjoy it. They seem much more engaged. And even though not all the students like the extension that we use, they still tried it. And so I want to make some progress. If you have any questions for me, well, I'm wondering maybe what I might be doing next as far as my new strategy and a couple of ideas in mind.
So she gave her an undivided attention as opposed to the other one who was just so distracted that cell phone didn't have its place.
Teacher got involved.
Yeah, never got to talk to the other one.
And allow for reflection, how, you know, how to implement this term.
Okay, we have one last group of slides, right?
Which one did you have? We had a video where the woman needed to leave and go to the hospital. And so she wasn't really very present to the teacher who needed her help. And then she kept reminding her of the training that the teacher had obviously already forgotten, and that was why she needed help to begin with. So that was us.
And I think that the whole gist of that one was, the teacher just really didn't care, you know, at all about what kind of training she had.
Hey, Ms. Anderson, I heard you needed me. What did I do for you today?
Good to see you too. I need to put my students into my group, but I can't remember how to do this.
Okay. So, first of all, do you remember how to get to Google?
I do.
Okay. So are you there already?
No, because I can't log into Google.
Okay. Okay. So do you remember where to click?
Yes.
Okay. So let's get you first to click there. And what is the part about logging in that you're having trouble with?
Yes.
So go ahead and then put those down and sign in. And your username, still the same. So you can log on to your laptop, your video card, okay, and then your email. Okay. And then click log in. Oops. Sorry, I'm just gonna put that away. Somebody's calling, but I can get that later.
Okay. All right, so how do I get my students in here? I just have to know their usernames and passwords.
That's a good question. You know, she's not come from a list of Microsoft. That's what you're telling me. I will find out for you. I will write with that.
That is perfect. All right, so and methods, pulling it in, just trying to see what some of the bad things were, maybe some examples of how you can change, you know, some coaching situations there that you're doing. So hopefully you enjoyed that, Kim. I'm sorry for a little rush there, but we made it through and moved through there on that part. So now we're going to turn over to Cameron and kind of close it out with the final activity.
So yes, I am so sorry. I'm stressed out. I misplaced my phone.
Is it, does it have a
Call
case grade case?
No, it is,
That's fine. Back there.
can we call?
Did you go outside?
It's not this.
No, that's fine.
That's yours.
Samsung has what?
It's on
You go outside.
Hey, Cameron, why don't we, while we're looking for that,
Okay.
move the.
All right, yeah, we're gonna move the tables this way and that way to leave some space in the middle. So you will not need your computers for this activity. This is kind of our culminating.
As you're moving, look for
Maybe we'll find the phone when we do this.
As you're moving
You did the stairwell or the, like, you told me to go stairwell?
And you still can sit at your tables. They're gonna write. You are gonna need to write on these little. You each had 3 hexagons. So you're gonna write on them.
I looked down and I realized I was down.
Did she go outside? She goes upstairs. And also take the front desk.
It is, thank you.
Do you want me to introduce you? All right, so, y'all know we've been working through the standards both on Sunday and today, and you're going to continue this. Kelly's going to brief you on how this will continue throughout the year of this coaching certification. But our content question for this one, Savannah, is
I just found a meal certificate for it.
all right, so how do technology coaches assist teachers in using technology effectively for assessing student learning, differentiating instruction, and providing rigorous, relevant, and engaging learning experiences for all students? Wow, that's a mouthful. That's one of our ISTE standard 2 for coaches. That's a lot. But what we just saw was a lot of what y'all end up doing maybe every day, right? I forgot my password. I can't do it. Yeah, resetting passwords. Not focusing on maybe the big idea or the vision that they talked about on Sunday. So, what we want to do now is kind of an activity to help refocus us, because some of you are going back to, maybe you have 47 schools together. This peer-to-peer thing is like, what? I can barely, get in my car. Or maybe you do have a school situation where you're one school and you get to maybe form those relationships. So in your mind, think about your situation, and this is called a hexagonal thinking activity. Have any of you done a hexagonal thinking activity before? All right, so you have 3 hexagons in front of you, and they are red, and I tried to turn them over where they don't have the lines since I didn't cut well in kindergarten. I must not learn that. But anyway, you can buy a hexagon puncher if you want. That would have been better. I need that. Okay. But anyway, on these 3, you're going to write 3 hurdles or barriers that keep you from being an effective technology coach. All right? Think in your mind, or anyone from being, what are 3 barriers that keep you from reaching that vision of being that visionary coach that you want to be or that you need to be?
You can't reach a word, a phrase.
No, it can be a phrase, what you can fit on the hexagon that we can read, okay? So 3 barriers or hurdles to being an effective technology coach. And facilitators, you can write them too if you want. You can write them too if you want. There's some red hexagons. So if you want to do your hexagon first, you're no longer a problem. If you want to do some hurdles, you can.
I'm so hurdle.
You want to do hurdle? Hurdle. Yeah. Hurdle. When you are done, you're going to come up to this table, and the hurdles are going to be here, and you're going to try to connect your hurdles to other people's hurdles on the 6 sides. So we're going to do hurdles right over here on this. Yeah, I mean, they're tiny, so we'll start here. Hurdles. So if somebody can put one down, and if yours connects to theirs. Okay, so if yours connects, just connect it. There's 6 places to connect where everybody can read. We'll have them places where you can. Yep.
If they don't connect, they just stay before.
Yeah, if they don't connect, wait till you find somebody that does connect.
Yeah.
Time over here.
So you connect yours to other people's.
I'm not sure. Interesting. Time's worse.
So try to connect them all if you can. Like if time connects to something else.
Too many other responsibilities is a good
So who's able to connect?
Buy-in.
Yeah, you can
Buy-in
connect.
around.
Clear, disintegrated.
But it did work out.
And so if you're done, you can still help them connect these. Help them connect these that are,
Let's go.
so all of you actually should be helping them connect. All coaches should be up here helping them connect. I know y'all are tired. Oh, yeah, well, that's true too.
Organizers.
Okay,
Other superpowers come back.
Oh, that's true. I love it. Oh, yeah, okay.
They kind of said, what's your video? And they would have done that in time.
All right, Kelly, have you already given everybody? There's more over. Who did lack of devices? Just curious. Was that yours?
I did,
Well, that's it.
because then they feel like they don't need it.
All right. All right, so now Kelly has given you 3 green.
Back on your tables.
And they're on your tables. And we have extras. And we'll post this there's links on how this works, so there's a little more to it at the end. There's links. What I want to know now is, if you were the most effective technology coach you could be, what would be the benefits that would be seen in your teachers, in your school, in your district, in the world? What are the benefits to having the most effective technology coaches that we can have? What benefits would be seen? 3, if we could have that.
What would be visible?
What would be visible? Yeah. I mean, what would be the benefits to effective technology coaching?
So you says up in, I think I can get some extras over there.
What would be like the result when you get an
I mean, no.
Put the barriers to the side.
This is your vision, like from Sunday. If you could do technology coaching the way you could be the most effective you could be, what would be happening? No, they're going to be over here. So big thinking here, big picture. What kind of things would happen with effective technology coaches?
Maybe this one should be yours.
That's right.
You said your superpower visions. What did I hear? I said your superpower.
No, but I missed the question because I
Okay,
didn't
say it
have
again.
it. Just upset.
Effective, you could see the most effective technology coach could, what would be the benefits of it? What would we see in the students, in the teachers, in the world, in the school? Yeah, what would happen? What benefits would we get? If you could
begin with.
Being that you had everything you needed to be the okay, yeah, I can't. I'm just surprised. And again, we're going to connect those together over here on the green page. This page. Connect them to other people's benefits, if you can.
You're five. I'm just watching for very good.
So call it out if you got one, and if somebody has one that connects, so call out what you got that you're trying to put down. Over here. I heard higher achievement, awesome. Students in an nasty video. Yeah.
I would think you're not finding other jobs. That's on here, there's somebody else who said that.
You can retire. Okay. Awesome.
I told y'all.
I appreciate all your connections. I wish I did make you aware of superpowers. So I can see who's up here. But y'all had a different one. But who are these superpowers up here? What are they?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, where are you?
Badge.
Remember that. I need to remember that.
Sorry.
That's exactly what that.
And your eyeball in here was black and devices.
It's the common.
I don't know. Hers is an outlier hexagon. You get one more chance. Both of the times hers won't connect to anybody. That's okay. Black and devices. I think it probably does.
Well, this is resources.
Okay.
There was a spot that was
Limited time.
communication. This is all about.
I have a part-time.
Somebody is a part-time.
All right, do we have them all here? Okay. Now you have, yeah, that's why I take a picture before. We really, these should have been stickies, but you have no idea how much sticky posted hexagons cost. I was like, for real? Like $16? Can't ask Kelly for that. I'll cut them out myself. Because I'm going to ask her for something else. All right, so you have 3 yellow. Now, these are the bridge. How do we get from these hurdles to this awesome vision of the best we can be and the benefits? We've got to get from the hurdles to the benefits. What do we need? How do we get there? Write it on this 3 post-it. I mean, those things that I did. Hexagon. How do we get from the hurdles to these awesome benefits of effective time coaching? What do we need to be the best we can be? I mean, hurdles are barriers. Hurdles are barriers. I'm interchanging words to help people trigger, but okay. I'm going to keep some resources in my head that are
That's fine.
These
I want to make sure
benefits,
I've got
the middle would be the bridge for the kids.
Oh, I'm already figured out. Yeah.
More yellow. Oh, there's more yellow. I got yellow.
What's the rest
What was the guy yesterday? Was it Google?
Yeah.
What did they get?
Exactly.
That's a training.
Maybe, yeah. Relationship support. Right?
More physical planning. Yeah.
So they hired an outside group. So they're one of these TV planning groups that usually Oh, I'm shaking. I'm like, can you hear me? That's the thing that I will. Probably. It's okay. I will have stopped watching long before this point.
So you can see, you still I just have a flag. Okay. Did you refresh? You're not sure. Okay. Oh, you couldn't get to my business. That's open. I understand. Oh, yeah.
Okay, now, you guys, I need you to somehow connect together this all the way to there. So somehow, is there a way that these yellow can start connecting somewhere here at the pink and get you to the green? You can start scooching. Let me get a picture of yellow first before you start doing that. All right, so let's keep our yellow. We got a lot of bridges here. Where's my one that always has one that's outside everybody else's? Did you fit in?
She fit in.
No.
She's picking up the whole board. That's how smart she is.
That is smart.
I was going
Wait a minute. Okay, now, so what? Did you find any common themes to your hurdles?
Time.
Okay. Time.
Buy-in.
And so what about any common areas here in the benefits? I saw a lot of global student engagement. So it was about students, which is what we're all about, right? And any common areas here? How are we getting from here to here? Oh, I saw. Okay. So I want you to tie all these together. You can move these. I see you've already started it here because time. Well, actually, you got fear here, creative scheduling. So time would more move to creative scheduling. But can you link any of these together where we bridge some of these to these with these bridges? Okay. All right, good. All right.
There you go.
And you can move them. So right now we're trying to connect. And I'm going to get you guys.
How much that video where they spill coffee?
All right. So we're trying to connect and bridge. All right, good. All right, we're going to bridge these hurdles with these benefits. So can you do that for a second? As many as you can. Kind of move where we have. We're getting from here to here by using these. We got about 2 minutes.
Relationships.
And you can talk out loud. Talk out loud.
So everybody hears your thinking.
Admins are connected to
Buy-in.
I saw creative.
Yeah, so here's admins right here.
Yes.
And then that one went on by itself. Admins utilizing technologies on it. Stephanie, what's that one that's right there? Yeah.
Admins utilizing technology.
Was there more than chocolate left on that table?
That was
independent lifelong learners.
Here, that's good.
I bought the chocolate.
What's the big thing that's going to get you from here?
All the TV and resources will have the transformation in the learning.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so say that again for everybody.
For all these resources that we say we need right here, like to help bridge this gap, it'll get that increased learning that we all.
All right.
But how are we gonna get resources if we don't have relationships? Are there ways to connect that?
There you go, yeah, just expand out now, right?
So we're gonna have two connections?
There, and that's gonna get us to all of the transformations that we talked about here. There you go.
Right. So now voice it out for everybody.
Again? Mm-hmm. So right here, we said that we needed resources, we needed the training, we needed to get this deep, we needed this program. And then all that will result in the increased, the transformation in education right here. That's what all this is right here, which has a shared vision, which then results into high student engagement and achievement.
What do you think the number one, what is the most important thing on this table? What's this bridge? What's the most important thing?
Training, the resources.
All of you. You are the bridge. You are the yellow.
What is your superpower?
I really have a lot.
Just admit it.
The gap one.
The gap.
You saw the
She
gap.
definitely saw the gap.
You did. You saw the gap.
Okay, so I know we had to do this as everything else we did quickly, just like your whole lives as a technology coach. This is just part of kind of a design thinking type thing. But there are other ways to do it, and so I'm going to address back to the Canvas. There is a link called Hexagonal Thinking Links. On there, you're going to find other ways teachers have used hexagonal thinking with elementary, with high school. Sometimes they pre-populate the hexagons with things they've already talked about as main ideas and get the kids to make connections with them. There's a hexagon tool in there, so you can read through there and find ways that you might can use this with your teachers to solve problems or to get people thinking, okay, lay it all out, and then you can take this step further. I'm going to paste your thoughts in there, so that will help us as we go through the year of the technology coaching cohort to maybe see how we are bridging from our hurdles to what the vision that we have that we want. Okay, and also the superpower activities, I gave you the email and password if you want to go look a little bit more at that, because if you decide to do that with your teachers, it kind of tells you how you can work with somebody with that superpower or how yours might work best with others. So those links are there for you. Again, of course, the ISTE standards for coaches as well, which is what we've been covering standard 2. And I have given you your
excellent. All right.
Not very long.
Good job. Thank y'all. If everybody will wrap back just for a second, we want to think about what our next steps are. And first of all, let me say, I just don't think I can say this enough to all of you, that you are the first 19 of a program that's being built. And so the last Sunday and then today are brand new. So timing, pacing, all those kind of things are kinks that will be worked out. And we can only do that with your feedback. So one of the things in your Canvas module is a place to give feedback, and you have to give us feedback. That's why you're part of the Alpha group, because you're going to help us build it. The first group of CTO helped totally transform how the beta group ended up for CTO. So you are just as much a part of this process as any of us course leaders are. So please, when we say give feedback, don't say good job and move on. This is the time where we need you. We need you to tell us the things that worked, the things that, anything from space, materials, everything. Be honest, okay? Now, that is in your Canvas mod. It's on ALTIC conference session 2. That's exactly right. So moving forward, we have some next steps. We will be together for the next almost year, but that does not mean that we're going to see each other face to face. We may have some opportunities that we can do some meetups regionally, but we are going to be in Canvas and in other places from now on. So I think that our course leaders are going to talk to you about the next step, which is your book study. Everybody got their book yesterday, including Katie? Yes, okay, Katie got her. And so that's going to be kind of the basis of where we're moving forward. Remember you leading? Okay. I'm just scrolling. Okay, I'll look. Okay, so.
I think we're all out.
I think scroll. Sharon with you. Sharon.
I don't know what happened to my books.
So, yeah, we're going to start on October 9th, that we're going to have a Twitter chat. We're going to try to have the Twitter chats on Monday nights at 8 o'clock, right before the ALIT one. And it would be the second Monday of every month except for January, because I realized really quickly that the national championship game is the second Monday. And we know that my Ohio State friend and not gonna be there this year. So, anyway, so we're gonna, this is what we're gonna try to do. This is our schedule. So hopefully we give you guys enough time to save the date. It's on your canvas. So it will be turned on. Jennifer was gonna turn it on for you today. But we're gonna really try to participate in a Twitter chat, kind of like we did the slow chat. This will be a fast chat. We're going to come back to some of the questions that we had that we left off with. We're gonna talk a little bit more in depth about the tech plan, but we're gonna really hit chapter 1 of your book and your workbook. So this is the time between now and then to work through chapter 1 in your workbook. I know that I have three people that are going to be under me. If you have any questions, contact your, I don't know what we call them. We call them collaborative partners. Your collaborative partner. And so you can contact them and they can really make sure that you're on board with this. If there's any problem whatsoever, we need that on. But this is our next step, is that we're going to be doing our book study on there. Does everybody like the book so far? I mean, you know, got to see the picture of it? and it just came out at the beginning of September, so hopefully nobody's read it in the 2 weeks that it was out before you got it. So
one of the things you'll be doing during the book study is really making a connection from the last 2 days into the instructional model that Jim Knight will be talking through throughout the book. And we know that none of these coaching models, there's not one that's going to fit all. And so I hope that today you made that connection between really the gut of all of the coaching models. And when you go back to your school, we know that many of you coach many schools, and some of you have the luxury of coaching one. But if there's nothing else you get out of this program, it's to no longer think of yourself as a specialist, to not think of yourself as just a person that shows up to provide PD to large groups. Truly, the way that we can transform schools in Alabama is through coaching, and that coaching is based on relationships. And so that is the core of this program, is to think of yourself in that light, and not think of yourself as just a PD specialist, even if that happens to be your title. As we move forward, we're going to have lots of different projects. We're going to have a digital citizenship project that you're going to be working through. You're going to have a passion project that you're going to work through, a coaching cycle. But that information we're not going to release all the time. We're not going to give everything at once so you leave running out of here and say you're not going to participate anymore. I hope that this year gives a lot of growth. Know that what you're doing is going to impact all across the state. You guys are going to become mentors for other tech coaches that are just coming in, brand new out of the gate, have no experience. So that's a big task, but that's the reason that you were chosen. Your applications came to the top, and out of 100, you were the 19 that came out of it. So thank you for coming. Thank you for putting all of your effort into it. Thank you to these guys who have put in, I cannot explain to you how much time and effort during this 3 hours, planning the other 3 hours. We've come in 3 days from 8 to 3 on their time with their full-time jobs to sit and plan for this. And they're going to continue. It's a year-long experience. So the commitment that you put in, they put in tenfold. And so I hope that one day all of you will be just as invested in this process as well, because that's kind of the point. To continue to grow our membership and grow our leaders, and that's what we think of you. So thank you so much. You're going to have 1,000 questions. And it's supposed to be fun. Oh yeah, I meant to say, I told them, we have to remind them it's supposed to be fun. I know we move at this pace, but y'all, that's the pace we move at. And so you may have wanted to stop and flesh out some things a little more, but we were rocking and rolling to get as much to you as we can. I want you to go have fun tonight in Blue Owl. Thank you so much. And you're going to have questions. Don't worry about it. Meet us on Facebook. Go to that group. Ask all the questions or contact your people. We want to take a picture. Amanda's got a camera. She's going to do a quick 360. And course leaders, I want to get your picture made out by the holding the sign. So thank you very much. Clean up your areas. We'll see you at the Blue Owl.
Can we just give them a hand too?
Yeah.
Y'all are amazing.
Oh, I had one more thing. I'm sorry. So many of you came to ALTIC and presented as part of this conference. And again, you're already showing that leadership. And so I just wanted to say thank you. Some of you, this might be your very first time to come here. I hope that you learned some things outside of even these experiences out in sessions. And so I look forward to seeing you showing up routinely and applying to present as well. So thank you. Who presented this time?
All right.
Excellent.
How many people first time at ALTIC or AETA?
Welcome.
That's awesome.
This is a different experience coming in to a program like this. So just coming to the sessions.
Okay, where do we want to be?
All right, what do we do, Amanda? Where do we go?
Right around the colleague, just don't stand under it.
Okay. Should Mark hold it?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
around her. It doesn't-
Mark, or